Good morning
to the Dynamite. I think that at least regarding to the show, I think we're both in a happier mood with this week. Are we? Is that safe to say?
for sure. For
Okay,
sure.
cool. I was about to say. So, a lot of great things happen. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's get right into it. So we kicked off with a lot of wrestling. We obviously this week it was in Everett, Washington, a little bit outside of Seattle, which is the home state of Bryan Danielson. So we kicked off with the tag match. Mox and Bryan versus Jeff Cobb and Kyle Fletcher, the United Empire connection there. Obviously, New Japan has Best of the Super Juniors going on right now, so there's really not much for the heavyweights to do. And I love this. I love when the BCC start fighting and then like the music just plays for no reason for like the first 5 minutes of the match, and it was just like I was born for greatness, and like Jeff Cobb is getting his shit rocked. Such fun stuff. I think that it's because it's been so wonky lately. I think it gets lost in translation how much having Mox and Bryan there really set the tone for the show. I think that really set the tone for the rest of the show.
Absolutely. And I think it gave the indication that it was going to be wrestling based, which
yes,
we don't always get. Look, last week was rough. All right. I know some people enjoyed it. However, they're wrong. And the only opinion that matters is mine. And with that being said, I'm so excited that we seem to have found our way a little bit more. This show did feel like a go home show, though. I was like, so what are we doing? What are we doing next week?
I agree. It did. Like I would have if I didn't know any better, I would have thought Double or Nothing was this Sunday.
This Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
But also that's not my problem. So they better have some, but they didn't give me the pin, so figure some shit out. But no, yeah. It's always good to see, Mox and Danielson. And I think that watching them tag is always so fun too. And look, I've seen a lot of debate the past few days about Kyle Fletcher. I feel like for seemingly no reason, like he's a hooper.
They just talking.
Y'all just talking. Now, the one thing you can say about Kyle Fletcher is that his barber don't love him. But other than that.
And the crazy thing is, for me personally, like, I know we've been doing, like, all these tier lists, right? Like, yeah. But I put Kyle Fletcher on the S tier in training side. Like, yeah. He's truly, like, the closest thing to Ospreay. He hasn't put it all together yet. Of course not. No. 100%. But as far as like having like those early signs, Kyle Fletcher is certainly him. And I think that's why him and Takeshita were put together, at least in the same faction. That's why, like, he's just shown so much promise. Like, if you've seen Kyle Fletcher, especially like his New Japan stuff and also the stuff that he's done at AEW, like, all I say is, like, watch Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor. If you can watch that match with him versus Lee Johnson and be like, Kyle Fletcher is mid, then wrong. I know something's wrong. Like,
talking. Because I'm like, that's not even like, y'all you know that video of Candy? You just made that up. That's not even like something we've been talking about, bro.
There was not a lot of actual, I don't know if it's been because, wrestling media has been beefing ever since that Backlash stuff, but there hasn't been a lot of legitimate AEW discourse recently. So I feel like people just been making
shit up.
Like, when I saw earlier today, somebody said, like, I don't feel like Swerve should be wrestling on free TV. Shut up!
Shut up! I hate y'all.
Y'all, because what are you talking about? They said that he needs to be champion. They said he needs to be booked more like MJF. I said, you want AEW to die. You want this place down. You down.
I'm not doing it.
I said, I'm sorry that there wasn't enough brochacho segments for you. I'm sorry that Swerve isn't doing enough 20-minute promos for you every week. Just talking. Listen, whether y'all liked it or not, On the first night of Swerve's reign, he kicked it off with a match. He wrestled 3 times that week. It is very clear that he wants to be known as the wrestling champion. He's given some pretty good promos in between, but he wants to be known as the wrestling champion.
And I gotta be so honest. Some of you guys are too dumb to be around me. That's stupid.
Yes.
You're stupid. And I've been trying really hard all day to choose kindness. I really have. I have to draw the line somewhere because what the fuck are we talking about? And it was the same shit with Kyle Fletcher. Like, it's the same shit. I'm like, there's no merit to that argument at all. Like, we were all sitting here after his match with Ospreay being like, hold on, you know, he's next up. Nothing has changed. He's still him.
Nothing has changed. In fact, I think that he's only looked better. Like when him and Hobbs were teaming together, great tag team, great stuff that they were doing on Collision up against, you know, Brian and Claudio. I just feel like I don't know what's going on recently. There's a lot going on with wrestling media and stuff right now, and like I don't know if like the checks ain't being cleared, but the grifting ain't working no more. The grifting's not working anymore, or like maybe like people just start tuning out. Like you're ugly, your nasty thumbnails and stuff is just not working anymore.
You got to get creative.
Hello, and I also realized that actual AEW fans, when the product is good, people are more willing to, I think, ignore a lot of the bullshit. And right now, like, you know, hey, like tonight was a really good example of like,
I don't need to be in the trenches.
Exactly. I feel like everybody, there was something that everybody got what they wanted tonight. I feel like there was something for everybody tonight. And let me be honest, I see some of y'all sneaking in. I see some of y'all sneaking in. I see people tweeting and live tweeting and talking about AEW that wasn't doing so 3 months ago. I think. And welcome. But don't bring that ghetto shit over here. Like, don't please. Like, I don't like, I'm all for, you know, new fans coming. But y'all, please don't ask why is the world champion wrestling, or like that's that stupid shit. That's that stupid shit, man. That's that stupid shit. Don't bring that stupid shit over here.
Oh my God.
That's what you got. Ooh. Anyway.
But, yeah.
Match was fun.
But then
Konosuke Takeshita.
Oh my God. Bro, that zoom in was for me. Let me first off say, he's a fantastic, extremely talented wrestler who deserves to be world champion on his own merit. He has put in the work. We thought he was on an upward trajectory, and we thought he was going to have a fantastic 2024. It hasn't necessarily panned out just in the way that he's been booked. So I want to say that first and foremost, that I hope
whoever said take a shitter in the chat, we don't do that here. But like, I would hate to have to like remove you. We don't play like that. It might have been a joke, but we don't play like that. That's not funny. It's not funny. It wasn't funny when MJF said it. It wasn't funny when MJF said it. Like, no, it's disrespectful. We don't play that here. Don't do it.
And it's giving ism.
Yeah, and like this will be your last warning. Dead ass. Continue, Dani.
But yeah, so I want to first off give him his props as a wrestler, because he's very good at that. One of the best in the world.
Absolutely.
Also, oh my God.
Them little parachute pants. Hey, listen, I'm picking up what he put down.
Look at him. I just feel like I want to thank that one tweet of that one girl? She's like, yeah, I want to thank the meteor that hit the dinosaur that provided the fossil fuel for the car to run to take your mom to the hospital for you to be born. Oh, brother.
We'll show you right on. Also, like the way he came into like Mox being on the turnbuckle, and then like the high angle German suplex off the top rope out of nowhere.
He hurt himself. The way he did it, I wasn't worried about Mox, but I was like, yo, you good? But alas, I think he is. So Konosuke Takeshita, as I say, pretty much on a weekly basis. If you are ever, just like around really anywhere. I can make myself available anywhere in the world at any time. You can call me, you can text me, Absolutely. Call me, beat me if you want me. But regardless, you look fantastic. I hope you win.
Amazing. Also, Jeff Cobb. Oh my God, that's a man. Listen, Jeff Cobb is a man. It's the reason why he's called the Imperial Unit. Wow. I love having him on Dynamite. And also, I think he should have a match with Claudio. I think that seeing Jeff Cobb in that giant swing would pop me into infinity and beyond. So I would like to see it. That should be set up as a New Japan World Television Championship match. And I'm going to be honest, I know for a fact he has nothing better to do. We are in Best of the Super Juniors.
True.
There's nothing else for him to do.
Shit else going on, babe.
You know, I appreciate our yearly Jeff Cobb singles match that we get on Dynamite. You know, last year was versus Kenny Omega. So yeah, just wanted to say that.
Yeah, put your boots on and clock in, because I got some plans for you.
Exactly. So moving on, after that, we had, what did we have after that? Yes, we had a promo. We had a promo from the Elite backstage, and wow, I'm gonna be honest, I can't even remember what the Buck said, because when Okada said, Dax, I am going to, I forgot, I don't know if he said I'm gonna finish you or something like that. He said, moi, bitch.
That is like, I'm going to use that so often in my day-to-day life, because all the time, I'll be like, thank you. Now it's me, bitch. I want that to be how it sounds every time I tweet. I want y'all to hear that as the send-off, as like the little signature in your heads. And you know what? Look, we talk about not Takeshita. We're talking about Okada. We talk about Okada, you know, and the Elite, and whether or not he was gonna fit in AEW, whether or not he was gonna fit in this, that, and a third. All of that's been completely disproven. Whether or not he would be, you know, good on TV, whether or not, you know, his English was strong enough, all it was bullshit. If you don't think that Kazuchika Okada is coming across like an absolute megastar right now, like,
you might be racist.
That you know, you said it. You said it.
You know, I think that opens up like a very valid conversation. It's different because I will say, like, I don't think we've ever seen this. Like, I just don't think we've ever seen this. I think typically when Japanese talent comes over to America in a full-time capacity, it's always these excuses of why they can't be bigger, of why they can't be the guy, why they can't be the girl, you know, like why they can't get mic time, why they can't get this. It's always these excuses. And I think that seeing Okada be in a moment where it's very clear that he is in control of his career, he has active creative input into what he's doing, he's actively invested into what he's doing. Like, you can tell, like, he's very much so in control of his own future. And I think that level of self-agency, it comes across on screen because it feels natural. He feels like he's doing stuff. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it feels like he's having fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. It feels like he actually wants to be doing everything that he's doing. Like, I think a lot of times we've seen Japanese wrestlers feel like they've been forced into roles and gimmicks. But he just feels like the same Okada that he was in New Japan, just slightly more of a dickhead. I don't know. Like, he's just,
yeah. He's like me on like the third day of my period, where you're like, you just the attitude problem was already there, and now you're just a dick. Why are you like that?
That's a great comparison, by the way. That's a great comparison.
Thanks, Dad. But yeah, you know, I love this Elite. I think it's so much fun on TV. And we need to talk about eventually Jack Perry. They had Jack Perry in a commentary booth.
Oh my gosh.
He's talking now.
Yes. Oh, we're about to get there, but in the middle, I'm sorry. I'm go through this list and then I see like the video again of it said, bitch, like the way that he said it was crazy. It was crazy. It's just like, it's also like as we get deeper into this, it's like he's taking little pieces of Kenny's gimmick and like he's making fun of him.
I thought for sure he was gonna do the,
I'm the best box machine now. Like, why would you say that?
Wake it up. Somebody has to be.
But then moving on, before we got into the tag match, we had a commercial from the Young Bucks.
So
and
stupid,
Okada. It was the Dark Order. You know what? And that's a great use of their time. Put them in commercials. We don't need them in actual anything else. That was a great use of their time. They earned their paycheck this week.
I forgot they were in the commercial even. So
listen. I would first like to say shout out to the Young Bucks for upgrading the shoe deals. The Reebok pumps are actually a very classic sneaker. And it's really cool that they got that shoe deal. I have their original PR sneakers, but they had them with more of a, how do I want to say it? Like a more obscure shoe brand. Like obviously I bought them regardless because the Bucks, the shoes that they ended up wearing to Full Gear 22 with that big patchwork style like that. But because these shoes actually look much more wearable because those shoes, the original ones, like I love the books, but they are a bit painful. This was hilarious. And when Okada's like handing them the shoes, like, bro, I want to be a fly on the wall. Yes. And the smile, like, I would love to be a fly on the wall in these ideation sessions when they thinking this shit up. Like, I would love to. Yeah, go ahead.
As we've discussed on this show, right? I'm really lame. I'm well aware of that. That's fine. We're all wrestling fans. We're all lame to an extent. That's fine. I have enough cool characteristics to balance it out. With that being said, I don't know if I could ever wear a Young Bucks sneaker. That I feel like I have to draw the line there. No disrespect to anybody that does. I just think that I'm not there yet on my journey. With that being said, I am currently on my 83rd Osprey match for my analysis. So everybody's got their thing. All right. I understand.
That was perfect framing. That was perfect for me. Like, and then there's me. I do have a pair of Young Bucks sneakers. Now, have I only worn them? I got them in 2022. They were still suspended when they dropped, by the way. They were still suspended from All Out. I think I've worn them twice because like I wore them to one wrestling show. Like I said, they made my feet hurt really bad. Like I wore them the night that they returned at Full Gear 2022. But like after that, I think I wore them maybe one more time. And the thing is, I will say, the first shoes that they dropped, they're almost impossible to match with anything. They're almost like, when I say like almost impossible, I literally mean almost impossible. It's just too many colors, patterns, etc. I think I wore them with like a black bodysuit one time, and that was about it. And so, but they do sit in the closet for the vibes. Like one day, if they ever do a signing, I would get them signed.
It's a lot of money for vibes.
Yeah, I mean they weren't that expensive.
They're what? What'd you say?
They weren't that expensive, especially like how much I pay for sneakers like regularly. Like I don't even think they were 100. Were they like 90? Maybe. And I mean, for me personally, like I paid 200 plus for shoes. I technically wear like men's sizes in like Jordans and stuff. So like, as far as sneakers go, they were pretty cheap.
All right, rich girl.
I definitely got them on PayPal paying for. Thank you.
$25. Maybe.
You were breaking up. I didn't do that.
Fine, it was a joke, but if I repeat it, it's not funny. So, move on.
Okay. Then we had the actual tag match. Also, it was really great to like kick off the show with tag team wrestling. Like we had 2 back-to-back tag matches, and both were pretty good. So we had the Bucks versus Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. This felt very old school Dynamite, very classic classic AEW, very classic Daily's Place type tag match in a very good way. I mean that in a good way. It was nice hearing the crowd give Christopher Daniels some love. And going back to what you said, we had Jack Perry on commentary, big scapegoat on commentary. Big scapegoat. Listen, I think that he was kidnapped by aliens.
I don't know who the fuck he was talking to in Japan, but he came back and he's so confident is the difference.
So confident.
Like, not even like character-wise aside, just like as a person, he just comes across as so much more sure of himself on the microphone. And really that is the big difference maker for, nobody's expecting him to drop these like amazing lines. Like, there are very few people who like whose promos are known for like their bars, but you become more and more of a promo person by the way that you're able to carry yourself. And this, we've been saying it about the growth and the progression. This was really like the true test of that. And that he just seemed like, yeah, this is what I do.
It's crazy. I was gonna say, like, it's crazy because in the Elite, I think that Matt and Nick especially Matt, are already very underrated talkers. Jack Perry has low-key become like the mouthpiece of the group and may be the best talker out of all of them, which is crazy. Like, that's crazy. And especially when we talk about what happened at the end of the night, it draws a lot of parallels to where we were this time last year. And if you told me that Jack Perry this time last year would be this, I wouldn't believe it. I think that's part of being a heel, is just believing in the crazy shit you say. I think that's why Christian Cage is so amazing. Like, Christian Cage looks you dead in your eyes and says, your daddy dead. Now what, bitch? And like, you can tell he believes it in his soul. And Jack Perry used to say a whole bunch of stuff, but it's just like the believing it part just wasn't clicking, but it's clicking now, which is really cool.
But also, I also, especially particularly as Jungle Boy and then even as Jack Perry, it felt like he didn't want to be the characters that he was being. He didn't like it. It didn't fit. And that came across too. So everything came across as kind of forced.
Absolutely.
Especially around the time of like the actual heel turn, where you're like, all right, bro, I don't think you want this. I'm not sure I want this. But I'm glad we're all back on the same page.
I love it. I think that, and then with him, pouring that woo energy on Tony Schiavone, listen, I know that felt like lighter fluid. Anywho,
respectful. It must have. He gonna be snap crackle popping for the rest of his life. Damn. Ow.
And then Matthew Jackson saying that, listen, we're trying to clean up this toxic work environment, and TD, we got to get you out of here, but we have a nice severance package for you. We're going to pay you for 30 days. I thought that they were going to like take that subtle shot towards like WWE there and be like, we got you in a 90-day no compete. I thought they were going to say that. But that's just perfect. Like, I think that's what was missing last year. That was what was missing a lot in that gap between coming back from that suspension to, their return heading into the Sting feud. You can tell the Elite just felt like they weren't having fun anymore. Like, everybody just felt like they were going through the motions in a lot of their feuds and stuff. Like, they were not having fun anymore. And I felt like for Hangman, he felt alive again. Swerve did that for him.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
but also
Ospreay did it for Keith. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but also they weren't wrestling that much. And I think that they, especially in comparison to some of their earlier days, like they just weren't wrestling as often. And I think that they are people, all of them, that are motivated, especially by what they're able to create in the ring. And so like doing everything else doesn't necessarily feel like a big payoff. It's, you're not getting that gratification or that satisfaction.
I think the thing about the Elite is that people have to understand of like, I think the difference between them and everybody else for me is that they're not just wrestlers, they're artists. And I think that they don't jump from feud to feud to feud like everybody else does, like every pay-per-view cycle. They like crafting these long narratives. Like when you think about it, so many of these elite stories have ranged over anywhere between 2 to 4 different promotions, anywhere between, like, let's say 5 to like 2 to 10 years. They like their long term booking, and I feel like AEW was in the place last year to where different narratives were being crafted, and some people were just like, we don't really need the books, so we're gonna try this.
Nobody, like, you have to be dumb to be like, you know what?
No, but here's the thing, but that's the problem. There was a lot of dummies doing it, so they said, oh yeah, well, we're gonna give.
We've been calling a lot of people stupid this episode,
but a lot of people deserve it. Anyway, true. I think people were like, well, you know, we don't need the Bucks. We're going to put the tag titles on Redacted, and they're going to carry the division and show everybody what we've been missing because the Bucks were in power. And exactly, no pop. Flop.
And criminal.
Just like that. Y'all notice how just like that, the tag division just suddenly feels exciting again ever since Revolution.
Like, all we had
don't get me wrong, we need to get an official defense on the books. Now, the Eliminators have been cool. We do need to get an official defense on the book, and we've talked about that on this show. But as far as a dynamic tag team who genuinely elevates everybody that they're around, the books.
It ain't FTR.
Oh. Well, you're correct. Correct.
I hate them. I really do. I just.
We're gonna. Here's the thing. We will get to a point where we can firmly talk all of our hate for them. Okay. We could save that for the main event. We could save that for the main event.
My apologies. I got ahead of myself. I got hate in my heart.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Kendrick. Take your time. Next, also in the middle of there, I wanted to say I really, really loved how they highlighted Swerve and like all the stuff, the publicity he's been doing as champion. Really good stuff. I think that they're doing a really good job of making him feel like a big deal. The countdown clock, showing all the media he's been doing, all the headlines. Really good stuff. Makes him feel like a big deal. They did it last week with Mercedes, obviously a collision with when she did the first pitch at the Red Sox. This is how you make AEW feel like a legitimate player. Like, because the thing is, the stars are doing the work. It's on the company to showcase that. And so that was really good.
And
go ahead.
That is the right thing to do, and I'm glad that they're doing it. It has not been working for me so far. And maybe it's because I just don't. I love Christian Cage and actually forecasted this feud. As you did separately, which is funny. But I'm excited about this match or title reign yet. I want to buy in. I don't feel like it doesn't move me so far. When he comes out with the world title, he looks like an absolute star. He feels like a star. The title reign itself, I'm not looking forward to it. Don't jump me. But I want to.
I'm not gonna lie, like for me, like this week was really good. I've been really invested. Maybe it's because, like, I don't know, like I'm a big fan of Christian Cage. And I think like everything he touches turns to gold. But like, what personally would make you? I think what would make you fully invest? Like, what are you personally looking for? Like, because I feel like everything that I've been looking for from this year, I've gotten. Huh?
I said it last week, and that I think it's hard to build a blood feud in 3 weeks. And none of us think none of us think that Christian Cage is going to win. So I would at least like it to be believable that they hate each other, you know? And Christian Cage, it's easier to do and you can sort of speed the process up because he's just so vile. But, you know, he's real life. I'm trying to get like him, bro. But I'm not fully the same way I wasn't fully convinced about the need for anarchy in the arena. I'm like, I don't totally see why you're all that mad yet, you know? And I feel like the stuff with the Mogul Embassy has been rushed. Like they came back randomly and then they turned the same night. And so maybe it's just like the pacing for me because I love all the people that are involved and I think AEW has done the right thing in the way that they've presented it. I just don't know if the timing is right for all of this for me.
The pacing part is completely fair. I do think that is one of the pros and cons of the inclusion of Dynasty. So like I feel like putting that like the existence of Dynasty solves a problem in the fact of, because I feel like last year the biggest problem was that the build to Double or Nothing felt way too long, right? Yes. Like especially coming off of Revolution, it felt way too long. So Dynasty solves a problem in that sense, but in another sense, it creates a problem because it feels like the build to Double or Nothing is too short.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think had we. Because it felt like what we did was Swerve won the title. Who can he fight? Christian. Rather than, and then sort of explaining from that point backwards of, you know, okay, that makes sense because he's mad. Instead of it feeling like it was the long-term plan. Maybe it was, you know, but I don't know. And I think that, I hate saying this but guys, we're a family here. I think that or really a cult, as I've said. I really love Swerve. I love him as world champion. I think he should continue to be. But right now, I think he still have the Ospreay problem. And that is what I am looking forward to more. When it's all settled. I don't think he should be champion yet, like we've talked about. I don't think that, you know, I don't think the timing's right. I think Swerve should be champion, like not even saying none of that. I'm just saying right now when I look up and down the card and I look at something, my eye is first drawn to Ospreay and it's I wonder what Ospreay is going to do. And then it's Swerve. Which you know, which is cool, but yeah, I don't know how you can, and obviously AEW's not booking for me because if they were, Takeshita would be in an Iron Man match and he probably wouldn't fight anybody. He'd just stand there for 60 minutes. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm trying to work through it. But I think overall, like I'm not thrilled about this Double or Nothing card outside of Willow and Mercedes thus far, honestly.
I felt that way to a certain extent. Now I think that this was the night where I became more excited for Swerve versus Christian than Ospreay versus Roddy, which was like, I feel like that for me, that flip happened. Like that flip happened tonight. Don't get me wrong. I think that the Ospreay Roddy promo was great. Like I do like it, but I do understand exactly what you're saying in the sense of, and maybe it comes down to those first 2 weeks of having like saying like, okay, Swerve is going to find out who his new challenger is tonight, or maybe we are in a different position if, let's say, after that Kyle Fletcher match originally, Christian Cage just attacks Swerve and then it feels more natural, you know?
Yeah,
and then,
rather than like, a declaration of Christian is here and he wants to fight you.
I do think that the framing was a bit off. Like, and even if you wanted to do like Swerve's first babyface promo on Collision, I think that still would have been perfectly fine. Maybe the attack should have happened first.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, that's what happens to baby faces. They get their shit spoiled.
They get their ass beat.
They get their shit spoiled on night one. Like that's now the Ospreay problem. I don't think that I really have the Ospreay problem. Specifically because like I personally do not want to see Ospreay main event Double or Nothing this year. not Double or Nothing, All In this year, because I feel like
me neither.
He needs to develop relationships with the roster, and I don't think that he's really done that yet. And I think that the exact problem that we're talking about would be the exact problem that would happen if Swerve versus Ospreay is the thing. Like, I think that we need to, like, I think that Swerve will feel, I hate to say it. Well, no, I don't hate to say it because I think it's true. We need Hangman back. We need Hangman back. And I think Swerve needs Hangman back. And I think Hangman needs Swerve to be champion right now.
You know what? That's what it is.
That's what it is. That's the question. It's not an Ospreay problem. It's a Hangman problem.
Well, I think it's both. Because without Hangman to, even as like a threat in the back of his mind, to push him a little bit, and to sort of, you know, give him that little bit of edge, I don't know what else we could do to give him like the big feeling. And I know like it helps to put Ospreay in the international title picture because obviously that keeps him separate. Like we know no time soon are we going to get Swerve Ospreay because Ospreay's doing this. But I think you still run the risk of having an Ospreay problem where you have the international title overshadow the world title. Because I think that's a real risk that you run now too. So I think that I would like to see, honestly, if Hangman were back, not even like doing anything, but just his presence with how much him and Swerve, he need, you know, it would be fully different if Hangman was just like lurking somewhere, keeping him on his toes. Because the Mogul Embassy beatdown, like, okay, but how much of a real threat to your championship are they? Not much. But Hangman is crazy and unpredictable right now, and he hates you.
But this is what I think about that. I feel like all of this, it's kind of like almost the Tony Storm problem that we were talking about last week. I feel like Double or Nothing right now, I think is going to be a rough build. Double or Nothing last year was a rough build. But I do think that all of these problems eventually become solved after Double or Nothing. Because at the end of the day, I feel like all of this is a precursor to Hangman, right? The story of Swerve's title reign right now is that all of his past transgressions from the shit that he's been doing over the past year and a half are starting to haunt him. All of his demons are coming to haunt him. And so I feel like right now we're starting off with the little demons. We're starting off with Nick Wayne, Mogul Embassy. But at the end of the day, the biggest demon of them all is still lurking out there. And I do believe that at minimum, we see Hangman reappear after Double or Nothing. And I do think like that is going to immediately make everything feel, because I'm going to be honest, for AEW fans, we know how rough last year was. Hangman and Swerve was what kept people at the dance. That is what kept the people at the dance. Like, and it's just the truth. And don't get me wrong, I see the comments. Like, I think the AEW has done everything that they can possibly do right now to make Swerve feel important. I feel like the countdown clocks, everything. Like, I feel like I don't think it's a thing of booking. I genuinely don't. I think it's more so just the fact of that's what the people want to see. That's just the Swerve and Hangman has been the feud that has carried the company. But for it to be able to stretch to All In, you have to create some space between them. And nothing else is ever going to feel like that. Even Swerve versus Ospreay as a feud is not going to feel like what they created together.
No. And I think that what we're seeing for the first time is really the pros and cons of having the most stacked roster in the world. So,
absolutely.
Because look, when MJF was champion, did we all agree that the title reign probably went on a little bit too long? But also that we didn't really know where we were going next. So that was part of like people's hangups was like, okay, like, so then what comes after this? The thing with Swerve is that one, he's been in the company for so long that he has even problems and, you know, history with so many of these people, that we could come back to a lot of things, as you were saying, could come back to a lot of these demons. But at the same time, like, now you have a very stacked, more than ever probably, or more than in recent times, healthy roster of like, okay, no, that person could be world champion, that person could one day be world champion, you know. And so now you're in a position where you're like, anytime, anytime that there's half a second of a promo gone wrong, or half of a botch, or half of anything in Swerve's title reign, there's gonna be that little bit of, well, maybe, you know, maybe this, maybe why isn't Pac in the world title picture? You know, Kyle O'Reilly just came back. Why hasn't he? You know, so I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting. You have all this top level, like elite talent. But so if Swerve and doing everything they can to make Swerve feel like the star that he is, we still now have room with a healthy, stacked roster to wonder, which I think is cool. It's cool that we can, you know, sit here and think about all the different avenues that we can go down.
I think it also makes everybody work 10 times harder. I think that was one of the things about the MJF title reign. I think that he 100% got. I think that MJF got complacent, 100%, and I think him getting complacent is why it was so easy.
Because he knew there was nowhere. He knew there was nobody to take it from him. He knew there was no, you know.
Exactly, especially with all
he felt untouchable.
And that's why it was so easy for Hangman and Swerve to really kind of steal everybody's hearts. And here's another thing about the Ospreay problem. I don't want to say the Ospreay problem, but the Ospreay situation is just that what will be interesting about him holding that international title is that Ospreay has proven that when it comes to matches, he's untouchable. He has not yet proven that he can carry a feud. He has not proven that he can have, and not in AEW. He has not proven that he can have that type of feud, that must-see feud yet, that where you want to see every interaction, like even like with him and Roddy, it still feels kind of thrown together. Like, you know, it does. Like him and Roddy, it feels
that clicked for me tonight. But I wish we would have done this before him. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. It feels like that also feels kind of rushed of just, and I think that's also the thing too of just like, Will Ospreay is the best wrestler in the world. And I do believe that he can't, because I mean, the magic he created with Kenny Omega, not just the matches, but like the subtle digs, like the stuff, like it was amazing, right? Like it was amazing, but that is very different. New Japan feuds and TV wrestling feuds are two completely different things. And so I think who Ospreay's first opponent is going to be very important to see how he can actually, you know, carry a feud. Because I think that's one of the things, because Swerve has proven that he can with the right dance partner. Like I said, I think like if there was more time, imagine if you had, I don't want to say from Revolution to Double or Nothing, but imagine if you had maybe, let's say, if Swerve was already championed by Dynasty and then we've built out from there, imagine what this Christian Cage feud, I feel like it wouldn't feel so compacted and rushed. Yes. I think this is more so of a timing thing. But the beautiful thing is that we don't have that problem going forward. Don't get me wrong, Forbidden Door is in between, but that's not really AEW.
Yeah.
Double or Nothing to All In is really going to be the teller for everybody. That's the real chunk of time where you have to make things matter. And like I said, and like we've said before, the men are not just competing with each other anymore. They are now competing with women. Everybody wants the ball.
The girls have entered the chat.
The girls have entered the. Yeah, go ahead.
What was I gonna say? It's about Ospreay. Oh, okay, yeah. Last thing I'll say about the Ospreay, you know, I say problem because it makes it sound like it's like a federal situation.
America
has a problem. Will Ospreay. But the other thing about that is, and we said it before, like, he is the best in the world, and he's going to be for a while. We don't need to rush into anything. We don't need to put a belt on him. And it feels weird to say, but it is kind of like a little bit similar to Danielson in a way, where you're like, all right, you could be champion tomorrow. You could also not be champion tomorrow. It wouldn't make all that much of a difference for you, and how you're perceived. Obviously, I don't think he should be losing, but you see what I mean? Like, he doesn't need a belt to submit any sort of status, which can also be threatening and can also put your champions under pressure.
100%
is good, but it's just a matter of making sure that you set up the champions, the people that you have invested in and put the belts on, for success. That's all.
I think that's honestly the problem. I think that was when I knew that the MJF title reign was going to be trash. It was during the Danielson feud, because I'm not talking about the match. I'm talking about the feud. Because if we go back to the feud, let's just be real. Nothing that MJF did during that time was actually memorable. What is the part that everybody remembers? Bryan Danielson having single matches every week when he was wrestling Bandito, wrestling Roosh, right? Like, that's what people remember from that. Now, the Iron Man match was spectacular. It was. But MJF was very much so I feel like his typical MO, he has a pattern. No, I'm not going to wrestle you. You have to go through these trials and tribulations to wrestle me, etc. This is where it backfired on him. It worked when he wasn't a champion. But when he was world champion, it backfired on him with Bryan Danielson. Because one, Bryan Danielson loves to wrestle. Two, people love to see Bryan Danielson wrestle. It got to a point during that entire feud where I forgot that the reason that Bryan Danielson was wrestling every week was because MJF told him to. I completely forgot. We were having a blast.
Who cares?
Because who gives a fuck? You think when this 26-year-old is telling Bryan Danielson what he has to do when I know he'll do it for free? And like, I think that's the thing too. And like somebody said, I hope he won't be Swerve won't be overshadowed by Elite versus AEW and Blood and Guts bill. I think Swerve's going to be in Blood and Guts actually. If they do a male Blood and Guts, I think he's on Team AEW by Blood and Guts. I think but the seeds are already there.
I don't think
it's clear that. I'm gonna be honest, the EVPs are making. Why?
Huh? What'd you say?
Why? I just said why.
Oh, because then I think you run into a Kazu problem, which is not. It's just, again, one of the things about having a stacked roster is like a lot of these people shouldn't be losing. But that's what I'm saying. Blood and Guts though, it's not.
Blood and Guts though isn't like, it's not an elimination match, is it?
No.
And also the thing is, like, Swerve would outshine Okada in a Blood and Guts match.
No. I don't mean the match itself. I think involving Swerve more directly with the Elite storyline could lead to him getting overshadowed by it, because I don't know really what else he's doing. Does that make sense?
I think Hangman will be back by then, though.
See, if Hangman is back, then I'm interested in seeing it. But I'm like, I think you really do run the risk the more that you cross those paths right now, of him losing a little bit of shine as champion.
If Hangman is back by then, because at the end of the day, Blood and Guts is 5-on-5, right? Yep. So even if you bring back everybody from Double or Nothing, you still have to bring in an extra person. I think Swerve makes sense there. And so Hangman returning one night only to the Elite just because Swerve is on the other side, that sounds very much so Adam Page. That sounds like he said, wherever this nigga is, put me on the other side. Like, just like, that sounds very
He's so real.
He's so real. And I think, like, the thing is, the seeds have already been planted. The Elite have quite literally basically said they hate Swerve. Like, and like, you know, they are rooting for his downfall. So I think the seeds are there. The only way I could see him not being in Blood and Guts is if they do women's Blood and Guts. Which is, hey. The girls have entered the chat. I'm inspired right now.
Well,
like I'm inspired.
Well, not these past 2 weeks, but
well, I'm talking about like Willow Mercedes.
Yeah. I'm in the, you know.
And here's the thing, I will say, from a world champion perspective, I'm inspired by Toni Storm right now because she's definitely back in her bag. But you know, let's go ahead and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get in the card. Also, we had Hook return. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really want to talk about a lot of this. I'm gonna be honest, Hook, you were so much better. They need to never give you the mic, bro. I'm gonna be honest, you not a talker, bro. You're not a talker, and that's okay.
They need to send you to Japan, and you need to get on that shit that they had the scapegoat on.
Hook should have been in Best of the Super Juniors this year. He should have. He should have been in Best of the Super Juniors this year. And my thing is that, like, some people be like, maybe he'll do better in NXT. Maybe he will. I don't know. But I know this isn't it. And what does give me hope, though, is that I really liked what I saw. Why would Swerve care about defending AEW? He said it. He talked about it. We'll get back to that later.
Also, he's champion. But go ahead.
He's champion, yeah. Anyway, when we talk, what was I saying? Yes, the backstage promo. I really did like what I saw with Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. Now, Samoa Joe, if you're gonna take them away from all this and form a faction and get them trios belts, I'm all for it. Shibata saying that like he's too big to be wearing them florals. Crazy. Via Google Translate. That's my goal. And I think
that's nasty work.
It's just proof that, I'm gonna be honest, there's fruit for all of these guys out here. There's something better than this learning tree. I don't know why we stuck on it. Also, Hook, damn, you fucked Chris Jericho up. Yeah, did you see that? Did you see how
I said, get him again. Get him again. Now, here's what I'll say, right? Mm-hmm. If Shibata takes another pin in the Jericho match, they're gonna put me on an FBI watch list. Yeah.
My eyes started twitching.
I said, I cannot explain to you, like, it felt like somebody punched me in the gut. I was like, get out of here. Save yourself. Especially because I was really hoping that we were going for a DG Shibata tag team run. And instead we're back in the Jericho vortex.
You know what though? But I have faith that if anybody that can free everyone, it's Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has healing powers. Samoa Joe can make a way out of no way. We've seen it. Seen it.
Bring a big knife. We're cutting down the learning tree.
We are cutting down the learning tree. Also, I don't think I said this, but the Swerve Brian Cage match was actually pretty good. I'm really glad that Brian Cage re-signed last year. Also, Christian Cage, Father of the Year. He said, "You thought you was gonna beat on my son? My son?" Also, Shayna Wayne.
Nasty.
I got Al Green playing for you. Wow. When I listen to Brick House by the Commodores, I think of you. I think of you and Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh my God. Happy Hot Girl Summer Tour, everybody.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that about Christian Cage. What a father. Father.
The family portrait dripping with your own blood is crazy.
It was crazy.
You're a sick man.
I love Christian. It's just because he believes it. Like, believing it is So I think believing it is really half the battle of just, you can tell a lot of people like being play heels. You can tell like now, like you can tell nobody's scripting, writing down Christian shit.
No, fuck you.
Exactly.
Come outside,
what did Okada say?
Bitch. Yeah.
Also, we skipped this. I'm gonna be honest. I am happy to skip this. But the spooky lore with the Adam Copeland and the Malachi stuff.
I was just confused. Take his wedding ring. Why? Do you want to kiss him?
My thing is like is Big Beth pop? Like,
I'm like, it's either that or you want him to be single because you want him. Which in that case, just say something.
Exactly. I hope Beth pulls up. I don't know. Like,
I hope so too.
And me too. Like, so. Hey, when she, I want my sister to say, "You think you know me?" You know that is her voice on the now. So
on that new one.
I'm always happy to see the good sis Beth Phoenix. They'll probably have her be Beth Copeland, which is also fine. I'm just happy to see her. But yeah, it did feel a little weird. I'm gonna be honest. Like people say, I'm not the biggest House of Black fan outside of Brody, and I know like some people, well, it's just internet discourse and y'all let Twitter. I'll be honest, I just don't care. My thing is more so apathy. It's not even dislike. Like I'm gonna be honest, I know nothing about Malachi Black outside of whatever he's done in the ring, and I don't care to. I know nothing about
100% with you.
Nothing personal. Like when I say him and Buddy Matthews, I know nothing about these people. I don't keep up with their lives. I don't know what's going on. I don't care to. All I know, all I judge from is what I see in the ring and what I see these,
which I also don't care about.
And I also want to say, Buddy Matthews, you got some splaining to do, my brother. Because these last two matches that Adam Copeland has had between Collision and the last Dynamite is proof he wasn't the problem. So what was that 2 weeks ago? Turn it on. Turn it on.
The people need to know.
Because what was that? You got some splaining to do. Brody King ain't have no problem. Kyle O'Reilly ain't have no problem.
That's my dog, bro.
Oh my God, Kyle.
That's literally every time he comes on the screen, and my family gets so mad because I'll just be like, Kyle O'Reilly.
I love the fact that you watch Dynamite with your family. I've never had that experience before.
The whole gang.
I love that.
Yeah. My mom is Ospreay's biggest fan and MJF's biggest hater. So
go mom. Yeah. I like that. I fuck with that.
Yeah.
She's just like me for real.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just wanted to say that. And then what was next? We talked about match. So we had the first we had a little vignette. I like to say Toni Storm, very, very funny girl. My sister said, what did she say about her womb? What did she say about her womb?
Something about the woodshed.
She said, yes, I'm taking her wombs to the woodshed. She said something about Vegas. Listen, I'm fully team timeless Toni. Like I said, like this isn't going to be the best feud. It's not. But Toni is going to, the real goals here. Forbidden Door is going to be insane for her. And All In is going to be insane for her. So honestly, like I said, I've already set my sights above. I believe that the actual match between her and Serena is going to be dope. I do. Like they're two great actors. Oh, okay. Well,
that's just like a gut feeling. They've never done anything to indicate that. I don't think it's going to be good. Maybe I really do think Kendrick ignited some hate in my heart. Because literally this whole episode, I'm like, actually, nah, fuck that. I don't know.
I think it's going to be, listen, I think that isn't going to be like a passionate match to where like we're going to talk about it for the ages. No. But do I think it's going to be like a solid match?
But here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we need to be doing that anymore in the women's.
I agree. But here's the thing: who else? For her to get to, at the end of the day, she needs to get from point A to point B, which is Forbidden Door, to point C, which is All In. Who could have possibly fit in that role in point A? Because let's just be real, Serena Deeb was not supposed to be in that role. Serena Deeb was supposed to be feuding with Yuka Sakazaki right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Yuka Sakazaki gets injured. And obviously, we pivoted from Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo. Now they're fighting with each other. Mm-hmm. So the question is, who would have realistically fit there? Who would have been the alternative?
My problem is not about My problem is not about realistic fit, because I don't care.
Fair. I agree.
My problem is more about, all right, who do I want to see grapple? Statlander, get in the ring.
I agree, but I think, Statlander's involved elsewhere. I think Statlander's going to knock the shit out.
She ain't been wrestling. We ain't been getting nothing from her bell to bell for a grip now. Like on the main shows.
I feel like she could have at least been on Collision right now. Like, like at minimum, that could be wrestling on Collision right now. I don't know if maybe she got
right with me that we've had 2 Harley Cameron Dynamite matches and we ain't seen Statlander in forever.
This is the perfect time for that. So we are officially on that match. Look, we know, I'm the person who always tries to see all sides, right? Mm-hmm. When it comes to the show. However, I'm not saying that Harley Cameron is ass. She's not. I think she has a lot of potential, and I think she has a lot of upside. And I think she's, for someone that has as little wrestling experience as she does, I think that she's shown a lot of growth, especially from when I had first seen her on AEW Dark. However, I just don't. Dani has said this before. I don't believe we have time to waste. Especially with this. We are 2 weeks out from the pay-per-view. Why the fuck is Harley Cameron a thing on Dynamite, period?
And that's what I'm saying, right? And we even talk about making something fit. Toni Storm isn't fighting Saraya at the pay-per-view. So the build with the, so there's no need to do 2 back-to-back weeks where interactions with the outcasts. We don't need to do that. So talk about a fit that don't fit. And it, quite frankly, was not up to the bar of where the women's division is right now. So why are we doing it?
And my thing is, go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was going to say, Mercedes is not the problem. That's the thing. Mercedes is not the problem, because at the end of the day, and Mercedes is a part of the TBS Championship feud. Mercedes hasn't been able to wrestle. And so over on that side, Willow has been defending against people who make sense. I think, listen, she's been going to Japan. She's been also going to the street fight with Sky Blue. The thing that is, I feel like AEW is holding girls for some reason between Ring of Honor and these debuts that have not debuted yet, and also these returns that are in the booth, because from what I've been seeing, the dentist seems to be cleared. Jamie, it's been a year. Ring of Honor is deep. There's no excuse. My thing
Billy,
is
Aminata, Athena.
Why I do understand. The thing about Aminata and Velvet, I do understand that they don't want them to lose right now because they are going up against Athena and Billy.
I understand.
However, there has to be more. There has to be more. And honestly, respectfully, this is when you start pulling people from from here, there, anywhere. You calling somebody from TJPW, calling somebody from Stardom. This is when you really start to utilize your relationships. Because at the end of the day, I try to see all sides of everything. I can't justify Harley Cameron having 2 back-to-back singles matches on Dynamite 2 weeks before Double or Nothing. I cannot. justify that. I cannot.
And it's really, like I said, this is no tea, no shade. We're not trying to be like, it's just a matter of knowing where you are and also knowing that Toni Storm has picked it back up in the ring. She 100%. Has really since the Azumi match. But she's picked it back up. We're not making the best of that.
We're not.
And we could be. And so now I'm like, okay, we're 2 weeks out from a pay-per-view. She's now doing this weird, not feud, but like overlap with the Outcast. Why are you having a grudge match to something completely unrelated to your title match? Like 2 weeks, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't, especially when the match isn't particularly good.
Absolutely. I think we're at this point, I think that what's happened with Athena is that she's too close to breaking Samoa Joe's record. We're to the point to where, and I'm gonna be honest, at this point, I agree. Yeah. She'll have broken.
At this point,
At this point, she's about to break the record for the longest Ring of Honor World Champion of all time, regardless of gender. I think that at this point, you just let her break it. I think that obviously Statlander is involved in this feud. And I think that honestly, Statlander versus Willow is the next step. I think that's the next step, which I think is going to be huge at this point. So I think that's why they're keeping her out of the feud, like out of the world title picture. I think that obviously Aminata, Velvet are involved in the Athena. Athena is the longest reigning women's world champion. She is about to break the record to be the longest world champion in Ring of Honor history, period. So there's a difference there. I just think that there has to be something else. I would rather like Mercedes Martinez. Like, where's she?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you need somebody to just take a pin, but who can put on a great match,
do it.
Mercedes Martinez can do it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we have to, at this point, who ends up beating Athena, I think it's either. Well, yes, but I think I want Aminata to do it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm on board. I'm on board. I'm big Aminata. Listen. They done sold me. I've been sold. I've been sold on big Aminata. I am sold. I'm sold. I'm sold.
I want to say I was her original stan.
I just think that the depth has to be there, and also I'm not gonna lie. This is I'd rather wrestle her. I think she's more of a finished product in the ring than Harley Cameron, respectfully. And I think that what happened is that the Ruby thing ended up kind of taking over. With Ruby getting pregnant, they felt like they had to do something with Saraya and Harley. I don't care though.
No.
It shouldn't interfere with what Dynamite got going on. I'm sorry. Like, happy for Ruby and everything, but that's a Rampage problem. Keep Rampage problems on Rampage.
You should call her pregnancy a problem.
No, okay, pause.
I know what you meant.
I'm just saying, Ring of Honor got a women's television title because they have a very stacked women's division and they deserve a mid-card title. I think that to try to minimize the work that they've done to just Tony not wanting to put Athena on television is just no. Like, the Ring of Honor women's division has honestly become its own animal, which means that you have to, like, some of these girls do need to be protected. They can't just be losing every single match on Dynamite. And then, like, I think Aminata and Velvet are really great examples of they are stars. They are stars. And so Ring of Honor is building stars. And I think that at this point, it's only a matter of when. I think that's why Athena's brief return to AEW television was with them, because it's very clear they have big plans for her. They're building all of them on Ring of Honor right now, which isn't the worst thing in the world. The problem here is that there's plenty of girls on AEW who need to be used. like who aren't in this Ring of Honor feud. That was the point of building this division back up. And my thing is just like, I want to know what you're saving these girls for. Like, what are we saving these people for? And at this point, if somebody doesn't come out at Double or Nothing, if we don't get a return, if we don't get a debut, I'm going to get worried.
I really don't know what we're doing. Yeah.
I'm going to get worried. Like, I'm legitimately, like, if we don't get Megan Bang, Camille, who else? Brittany Baker, Jamie Hayter. Brittany Baker, Jamie Hayter.
Government is crazy.
Honestly, multiple of these people. The problem, listen, the thing is, Tony retaining and nobody popping up, it's fine for Tony long term as far as a pay-per-view defense. The problem is the in-between. Because Mina is not going to fly from Japan every week. Like, not every week. Maybe in those last 2 weeks heading to Forbidden Door, okay. But I just, I don't know. Well, I don't know how much the Stardom partnership, clearly the Stardom partnership is working well. If Willow is going to defend the TBS championship against Tam Nakano this weekend, which is going to be great. But at the same time, like, is it good enough to the point where they can send over girls every week? I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, the match was a match. It was decent, but like,
no, it wasn't.
We've got to. It was decent, but at this point, like, we need better than decent. Decent isn't good enough.
Okay.
I mean, either way, like, it wasn't good enough.
No, not at all.
Either way, it wasn't good enough. We can agree on that. And so,
true.
Yeah, I'm sorry that the comments are distracting. I'm gonna be honest, like, I really appreciate y'all. I really appreciate y'all. But like, I'm reminded why sometimes talking to men about women's wrestling is so frustrating. Anyway, moving on.
Women's business.
Women's business. Next, okay, then we had the women's business. Thank you. First of all, Renee overseeing this was great. I'm really glad that we had like all women in the ring. Renee is amazing at her job. Also, I'm really excited for this meal and a match thing that her and RJ City have going on. Really excited. First guest is Eddie Kingston. This should be very fun. Much fun. First we had out Mercedes. The girl looks great. She always does. She looks like money. Incredible. And then there was Willow Nightingale. And wow, this was fantastic. And it wasn't fantastic for a women's contract signing. This was just a fantastic contract signing. And all contract signings are not created equal. Let's just be honest. This was the best contract signing I've personally seen. This is the best contract signing that I've seen since Hangman Swerve, which is very high. That's probably the highest compliment that I can give. That's the highest compliment that I can give. Listen,
Willow is so
go ahead.
Good.
Amazing.
That's really all I had. Willow is so good. And it was funny because I was sitting there watching it with Brittany. And when she hit her with that one bar, she said, I walked out as champion. And Brittany said, and she didn't walk out at all. And Willow said, and you didn't walk out at all. I said, yup.
I think we all knew it needed to be said, but I didn't know if she was gonna say it. And when she said it, I said, oh my God, listen, Willow Nightingale is the best baby face that I've ever seen. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to say she's the best I've seen since NXT Bayley, but I think that she's better. And I think the reason why I think she's better is that NXT Bayley at the time, as bubbly as she was, it wasn't realistic. It wasn't realistic that an adult is walking around with a side ponytail looking like JoJo Siwa. And like, you know, the buddies, like it felt very, of course it was very kid friendly. It was very positive, but it wasn't realistic. Willow feels so realistic. She feels like a girl that you can be best friends with, a girl you went to school with, a girl that could be your cousin.
That is so kind and also not to be messed with.
Exactly.
You're not finna play her.
Exactly. And, you know, this is a girl who heard a lot of y'all talking shit, not just during this feud, but dating back to the original Resurgence, saying that she was never supposed to be champion. She never deserved it. She never was this. She never was this. And she's a person who internalized that, and she did the work, and she said, never again. You will never play me again.
Y'all was wrong at the time. You were wrong at the time. So she has absolutely leveled up, but she realized didn't need to because she was already her.
She was already her, but she's accelerated. She's gotten better in the ring. She's gotten better in the mic, and also her confidence has expanded. She's no longer just happy to be there. She is the moment. She's everything. And Mercedes thrives so much better as a heel. The people started booing, and I saw my good sister lock in. She said,
lit up.
I'm gonna make your fave cry. She's Okada, bro. She is Okada. Her and Okada are the same, and that's why I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the Elite needs to be. I think she needs to join the Elite. The thing is, I think she does. Absolutely. Mercedes just she thrived because I feel like she knows what she's working with here. Like she knows what she's working with here. Mercedes has always done her best work against these grassroots baby faces. The type of Mercedes is popular, and I'm gonna be honest. Anybody who tells you that she's not, and don't get me wrong, like they're lying. They're lying. She is popular. And I think that if she was feuding with anybody else right now, she would still be getting very massive CEO chants. But guess what? Mm-hmm. Nobody in their right mind can boo Willow Nightingale. She's just that good. And I think that people, and I'm going to be honest, I need to get on my soapbox for this because a lot of people are talking a lot of shit, being like, Mercedes is just bad. The fans are turning against her, etc. That's not what's happening. Willow is just that good. And I think that people need to acknowledge that. It's not that, oh my gosh, Mercedes is bombing promos or people are tired of her. That is not what's happening at all. Mercedes is up against a generational babyface that people believe in, that people are rooting for. That doesn't mean, like, it's not that people aren't interested in this feud. People are very interested in this feud. People are invested in Willow Nightingale. Which means that guess what?
Willow.
This works.
They're Team Willow.
Because at the end of the day,
because she's the heel.
Mercedes not being able to wrestle has worked in a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways because you had to pay attention to Willow. Even if you don't know her, even if you're pulling up for Mercedes, you have to pay attention to Willow Nightingale. Whether you want to or not, she is infectious. She is impossible to ignore. And she is on a run of a lifetime. There's
with incredible matches in the meantime.
Absolutely. And it's not a coincidence that the defenses that she has racked up are very influential defenses. Even this title reign will be short. It will be. But the matches that she had in this period of time are memorable. Very memorable. When that street fight with her and Scott Booth stole the weekend.
A hit.
Flying to Stardom.
3 hours of TV.
Flying to Japan to defend in the Yokohama Buntai a week before Double or Nothing to defend the title against Tam Nakano a week before Double or Nothing, that's gigantic. That's gigantic. The thing is, that's what makes this feud even more beautiful. Mercedes said she wanted to start a global revolution. Willow Nightingale became the global revolution right under her nose. Willow is the international face of AEW. When the company needed to send somebody to CMLL in Mexico, they sent Willow. Stardom American Dream, Willow. Stardom Flashing Champions, Willow. New Japan Strong Women's Title Tournament and Resurgence, Willow. New Japan Independence Day versus Julia, Willow. At the end of the day, that global revolution that Mercedes wanted to have and was on track to have before her injury, Willow ended up having it.
And she's living it.
That's the story. That's the story. At the end of the day, like, Mercedes is going to take everything from her because she feels like Willow took everything from her. And I'm going to be honest, now some people are going to be like, well, I mean, this isn't a story, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be honest, you were never the target audience in the first place. This is some shit just not for you. This is not
shut up.
This is Black women business.
That part. I was going to say, look, at the end of the day, you're so used to having everything be for you and right up your alley and cater to you specifically. I don't give a fuck if y'all don't like it. Not even a little bit. This shit is for me. Okay?
For me.
You guys just don't understand how big of a deal it is for this to be happening. And not only the way that they're being positioned, but the fact that you have two absolute best in the world in this position. So I don't want to hear shit about Mercedes wigs or about whether or not, you know, so-and-so can cut a promo about this, that, or a third. Shut the fuck up. Y'all niggas ain't no shit. I'm not doing this with y'all.
Men throughout mediocre white men in history and wrestling have gotten so much more for so much less. Mediocre white men have walked into wrestling companies all the time and demanded world title matches. Y'all are shitting bricks and acting like the world is going to end because Mercedes is getting a TV title match. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? I'll take it further. And somebody will be like, well, she's not the draw he is. I don't care. Phillip Brooks walked away from wrestling for 7 years. 7. And walked right back in. And got every match he wanted. And did everything he wanted. And nobody batted an eye. Y'all do whatever you want. Everybody wants to change the rules when Black women are involved. There are no rules. Oh well, right. I don't give a fuck.
This is, you know what? Look, I'm gonna do my little rant for a little bit, but then I'm gonna let y'all go because I know you're sleepy. I'm sleepy. But what people fail to realize, or what we always seem to lose sight of when having conversations about wrestling, is that, believe it or not, the outcomes are predetermined. The matches are booked in advance. And all this shit, right? So you telling me that something is not believable, something is not, you know, that's not real, that would never happen. None of this shit is, okay? But since it's somebody Black that's being, you know, treated like a star because that's what she is. And that's a new feeling for y'all. I know that's a new feeling for you. So all of a sudden, you know, you're making shit up for criticisms. You are. Because we're not going to sit up here and act like, you know, like every single match on AEW top to bottom is a banger. It's not. We're not going to sit up here talking about every promo and every person AEW's is a very talented wrestler. He is not a fantastic talker. Mercedes is a lot better as a wrestler, a lot, more experienced. And maybe not a fantastic talker, hasn't been able to wrestle in a while, but be so for real.
Yeah. I'm
in your walls.
I think
shut up.
I'm gonna be honest, and I feel like I've been trying to like be really diplomatic about this, but as we get closer to the match, I don't give a fuck about this anymore. And the reason why is because I can name how many on one hand and not use all my fingers. How many times in history I have felt like not even just representation, because I feel like that word gets so overused in wrestling now, but like legitimate, like we were the moment. Like we were the moment. And this is one of those times. And I think it's even, for me personally, for it to be in an organization like AEW, which is a hardcore wrestling organization, just like New Japan was. I felt the same way for Resurgence. This combination is so spectacular to me, just so mind-blowing to me. Like, I'm just not going to let you fuckers ruin it. You can cry. You don't have to watch Double or Nothing. You can actually save, please save your $50. Like, I truly mean this from the bottom of my heart. Whatever you got to do, like, well, the TBS championship main eventing is not believable, or it's never going to happen. Well, guess what? The TNT title main event last year, and the world champion was doing Brochacho Ring of Honor tag team title matches by himself against the Righteous. None of this shit is believable. Like, none of this shit is believable. The international title had the main event last year because the world title was... Like, all of this, none of this is believable. Guess what? The tag titles main event to Revolution because our 62-year-old geriatric grandpa that we love very much was retiring, and it was the most important thing in the world. At the end of the day, wrestling is about making you feel. Everybody wants to get caught up on logic and, oh my God, but this doesn't make any sense. Well, what about Swerve? Y'all don't give a damn about Swerve. It's not about Swerve. You just hate Mercedes. And I would much rather, and I hate when y'all do that, oh my gosh, be like, well, but you always want to put one black star up against each other, because guess what? We're not used to having multiple at the same time. And guess what? This is a new reality. This is a new day. This is a new dawn. And you're just going to have to get used to it. We're just going to have to get used to it. I don't give a damn if you watch Double or Nothing. I don't give a damn how you feel about the main event.
In an RNF. We're living in an RNF.
Lyric, this is all DEI
which is what me and I was gonna say what me and my family refer to as a real nigga future. That's what this is. All right, you're gonna have to get used to it, because the future looks like a whole bunch of real niggas, unfortunately.
And I think also somebody was trying to tell me, like, well, I don't like when y'all say that Willow is face of the company. A person like her will never be face of the company. And when y'all say stuff like that, what do you mean like that? By that, I want people to start being like, what do you mean like that? Do you mean black? And I'm gonna be honest. Let's just be real. Willow, don't get me wrong. We've had black women stars in the past. Willow is completely unconventional body type. Any other company, she would be placed in a full bodysuit covered from her ankles to her wrists and be like some heel character. She is an anomaly. She's one of one. And guess what?
She's number one. She's the only one.
She became a star anyway. The most unconventional person on paper became the biggest, best babyface that I've ever seen. And I don't care if nobody else agrees. I don't give a fuck. I'll be honest. Some of y'all creamed y'all pants during that entire MJF reign and Brochacho verse. So yes, I'm going to enjoy this TBS verse. All of this crying over a TV title? Seriously?
Get a job.
All because a Black woman became the highest paid woman in women's wrestling history? Seriously, because that's what it all boils down to. Y'all cannot stand or fathom the fact that a Black woman knew her worth and called her shot and said, I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to choose success for myself. That is what it all boils down to. That's what it all comes back to. That's what the controversy is. It's not about the promos. It's the fact that she did what she did. That's what it all comes down to. And I would rather people be honest about it.
She did it to.
And what 3 letters she chose. That's what it all comes down to. And I'm just letting you know now, I don't give a fuck anymore. Willow Mercedes main event. Period. My sister took a Dr. Bomb through that table. That bump, she said she's good to go. I couldn't have asked for anything more from this. Let the girls cook.
Let the girls cook.
Do you have anything else to say?
In the kitchen.
You had anything else to say?
I froze a little bit. Look, Willow and Mercedes. I'll put a stamp on it and a cute little bow. The reason that y'all are mad about Willow and Mercedes and all of this is much bigger than wrestling. You want to use wrestling devices and want to find sort of wrestling related justification. But at the end of the day, it is something a lot deeper, bigger, more profound than wrestling. So ponder that, you stupid bitches. Respectfully.
I think, and also truly, I don't even think people realize that they're doing it. I think some of you are definitely racist. Don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of people are don't realize that they're doing it. And I think wrestling got more diverse really quickly. I think really quickly. Between 2021 and now, there's been a lot of firsts. There's been a lot of firsts. There's been a lot of stars coming in, making their stamp in every company. And I think there's been a lot of firsts. And I don't even think people are realizing what they're doing and what they're saying. As far as, I think, implicit biases of what a champion is supposed to look like, of what a face of the company is supposed to look like, what a main eventer is supposed to look like. A lot of the dog whistle conversations that people have and like the terms that they use, I don't think people even realize what they're saying and what they're doing. And I think I try really hard to try to be understanding, but between Swerve and Willow,
I hate y'all.
Between Swerve, Willow, Mercedes, I mean, even think about like what Shane Taylor was saying about what Kevin Nash said about him recently of just, I'm not doing this with y'all anymore. I don't give a fuck. Like, just y'all gonna have to figure that out within yourselves. Like, at the end of the day, the people who it's for love it. I don't know what else to tell you. So moving on to the main event, we had Kazuchika Okada, that king, up against Dax. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Bald.
This
was not good.
I'm not gonna lie. My inner hater is so strong to where I couldn't even focus on it. I couldn't even pay attention enough.
I hate that, man. I really do.
I saw, in my mind, we went from entrance to Rainmaker pin. I couldn't even process.
With a few key botches in between, because there were a few moments he looked real stupid. We really have been inspired by Kendrick Lamar, because this whole episode has just been, you're dumb, I hate you, fuck off. So no, but Dax Harwood, he knows what he did. But look, that I don't even know what it was supposed to be. He came off the top and he just missed entirely. And they tried to be like, oh, Okada rolled out the way. No, he didn't. You had no chance of getting anywhere near that, man. He was trying to do a diving headbutt, I think. You look dumb. Do you feel dumb? Because you look dumb. And extra bald. I cannot emphasize that enough. No, I was just going to say also, like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, too, of just FTR loves to, like, tell people that they've mastered the Japanese style because they won the IWGP tag team belts. And y'all prove every single time you wrestled that you barely defended them. You wrestled once in Japan. Once. You had 2 New Japan defenses. You defended them once at Royal Quest against Aussie Open, which was a great match, but that was not even in Japan. It was in the UK. And then the second match was versus Bishamon at Wrestle Kingdom, where you dropped the titles, and the match wasn't great. Because it was so mid to the point that people forget that y'all were actually there on the night of Wrestle Kingdom 17. Kenny Omega was there.
Look.
Mercedes was there. You were there. We forgot. We only know because Mercedes blessed you with the picture backstage.
We didn't care. Don't care.
We looked around, nobody
knew. You know how hard it is? Do you know how hard it is for me to not like an Okada match in 2024? You have to like fully ruin the viewing experience for me. And yo bitch ass did. And I will never forgive you for that. Cause look, also, if you're gonna do a singles partnership with a singles matchup with somebody from that godforsaken 3-letter team, go get the criminal.
That's
Leave the baldy at home. Where's Commissary Cash Wheeler?
Perk Wheeler? Got that dog in him. You can listen now.
Like,
am I trying to see him after dark? Absolutely not. Do I want to be in traffic with him? Absolutely not. But Perk Wheeler, whoo! That man can wrestle.
He bought it though.
That man can wrestle. That man can wrestle. And I just don't understand.
What the hell are you doing here?
Why does Dax get all the singles matches? Why?
Because he talks so much and he's from Carolina and he's got a family he needs to defend. Nobody gives a fuck. Ring the bell. Go home. How are you? Somebody made a good point. How is your other tag team partner been accused of a real crime? All right. And we're sitting here like, damn, I wish that nigga was here. We like you less.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie.
Criminal. And we like
crazy.
You less.
That's crazy. When you
we
break
seen
it down
that
like
man
that,
mugshot, and our first thought was, oh no, this means singles matches for you.
This man had to get a special waiver to leave the country for All In, and we still said, damn, we miss him.
Go get the other one.
The charges.
Look. The charges were dropped. That don't make a difference to me. These jokes will go on forever. Also, did you see that after Dynamite, apparently that Bald came out and he was like, everybody, let's give a round of applause for Hair's charges being dropped. What in the white privilege?
He did not do that.
He 100% did.
Oh my God. That's embarrassing. No, that's embarrassing. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. That's some Southern white man privilege right there. Y'all did that in Washington State too? Oh my God. Oof. This is very much some backdoor Georgia type behavior.
Ghetto.
Ooh.
Let's have a party because he got away with it. What?
Oh, that's ghetto. Ooh. Oh, honey, that's ghetto. That's country ghetto too. That's redneck.
That's some real Florida ghetto type shit.
Gutter butt, right there. That's gutter butt. But anywho, Cash Money Kazuchika Cash Money Kazu retains. Jack Perry comes in, starts attacking Fear the Revolver, and then it's announced. Listen, we figure out who this last partner is, y'all. I just want to say I called this, but I never wanted to be right. I never wanted to be right. Darby Allin.
What an absolute fuck. I was sitting there and I was running through my mind. I was like, all right, who could it be? My first thought, DG. My backup, like Briscoe. I was like, wait, I know that ain't who I think it is. I said, I swear to you, that nigga just got hit by a bus. I swear to you, he just got hit by a bus.
I'm not gonna lie. I would like to say, in the apocalypse, put me next to Darby Allin. Because I know for a fact, I just know I would survive. I will survive.
He will survive. We're done for. Us mere mortals. He's making it out of it.
You know that when he got hit by the bus, he was actually saving somebody's life?
Yes. Like,
he jumped in front. Listen, hey man, because I know for a fact if this thing see a meteor coming towards us, he would jump in front. I need somebody selfless. I need somebody selfless enough to make those really difficult decisions. To go first, those
yeah, I was gonna say those like weird tweets where people be like, what would you do in this situation? Some people are like, handle it. Darby Allin's maybe the only nigga on earth that I'm like, he probably would. I don't know how, and I don't know, but he'd probably take care of it. He'd probably be fine.
Do you know how the rest crazy of y'all you gotta be for Tony Hawk to say you a crazy nigga? Tony Hawk.
I was sitting there. It was like, I cannot explain to you my disbelief, because I'm like, I knew when he got hit by the bus that he still was limping around on a broken foot. So I'm like, in my head, Darby was going to be gone for at least another 3-4 months. I wasn't even Darby Allin wearing a Barbie robe. Where the hell did this nigga come from?
He's on that Bryan Danielson healing schedule, because I remember Bryan Danielson sure did. We got to remind ourselves, Bryan Danielson did some of the best work of his career in the last quarter of last year with one eye and half an arm. I don't know what kind of listen. I don't know what I don't know what these AEW medical protocols look like.
Coke.
You good?
I said it when that bitch got hit by the bus. I want whatever healthcare they got his ass on. Because whatever they're doing fucking works, and it works quick.
And he also just said that he was just like, yeah, I feel like getting hit by a bus is a sign that I need to climb Everest. What?
No, it's not.
God is up there like, I know God is up there and just like, oh my God. I can't get any clearer without putting my sandals on and coming down there.
Like, you know how many times you're contemplating doing something and you're like, oh, should I do it? Should I do it? Literally every weapon is being formed against you. every single one. You are not supposed to go up there, little bitch. You are not supposed to go up there.
The weapons are prospering. They are prospering. Listen, Darby, you scared the hell out of me, but I will say, if he is somewhat kind of halfway cleared, listen, he's gonna do great. He is gonna be great.
Then one, who the hell are the doctors? but
yeah. I will say he actually is a perfect person to be in this match. One thing that I love the synergy between, I love the storytelling between this year's Double or Nothing and last year's Double or Nothing. Last year's Double or Nothing was the 4 Pillars 4-way that we saw. And that was the first sort of hint that we started to see of Jack Perry, you know, sneaking towards that heel. So them being on opposite sides here, I think is really great. Great storytelling here. I'm very excited for that.
I was gonna say, and you know, obviously with the Bucks, you know, and Sting and Darby, so you have that already. They was already mad, you know. Darby went away. Makes perfect sense. Honestly, probably makes more sense than having Eddie in it. Never obviously under these circumstances want anything like that to happen. But just from a storyline perspective, I see why Darby would be upset, and about the shit that's been happening since he's been gone. And if you want to continue this feud or whatever, these matchups, Darby Okada, he gonna gonna beat the piss out that little man.
I think that would be Okada's best match in the AEW to this point too.
Probably. And you know, he's a day one guy. He's a, somebody that you can even do the, like you said, the 4 pillars shit where you're like, okay, the EVPs have always shown favoritism and they always wanted it to be fucking Jack Perry, but I put all this shit, whatever. It's such a simple storyline, and I think it's if he can go, makes all the sense in the world and will lead to a good match. Because one thing about Darby, he'll ragdoll. He'll let himself get thrown around. I am a little bit scared because I'm like, the match that you're gonna come back from all that you've been doing is Anarchy in the Arena. Please be careful.
Hey, Bryan Danielson, listen. I think about what Bryan Danielson was doing of just like, he got injured in several Anarchy in the Arena. Like, I'm not gonna lie, half the people in this match have no business being there. Just being quite honest. What the fuck is Kazuchika Okada about to do in an Anarchy in the Arena match? Listen. There's honestly a real possibility that he's just there to laugh. He's just there to laugh. And honestly,
I think Okada is going to hit Darby Allin with an 18-wheeler. That's my prediction for Anarchy.
I'm interested to see what Okada wears. Like, is he going to be one of those people like Pac who is geared everywhere? Or is he going to like, what does Okada hardcore gear look like? I'm so intrigued. Like, I will say, I'm very interested in Anarchy in the Arena. I'm so intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see what happens. Darby being added to this match has like multiplied my excitement. And I think also there's so many different ways. I think that now you can really run a very interesting program, even a singles program, I think, with Darby and Jack after this. I think like enough time has passed. They're different enough now. Darby is the people's choice. Jack is the corporate choice. Like it's a very, very interesting stuff that.
And now Jack Perry can talk.
Watchable TV. It kind of helps. He could always wrestle, but now, like, they could talk. And I think, like, Darby loves AEW. He's always been the person to say, like, there will never be a bidding war for Darby Allin. And then now, Jack Perry is, like, on a mission to save AEW in, like, the worst way possible. Listen, I'm just very excited to see what happens. This is a great pick. Is it the healthiest? Absolutely not. Could this backfire? Absolutely. But if anybody is indestructible, truly, if you got to believe it, that anybody's going to be okay on the other side of this, you got to believe in Darby. I mean, this man couldn't even sit on the shelf. He couldn't even sit on the shelf for longer than 2 months. Listen, he broke his ankle. That should have been enough. Then he gets
like, who gets hit by a bus, bro?
Hit by a bus in New York traffic. I think he was in New York. Like, and I
saw that shit. I was like, First of all, what are the odds that that would happen to anyone? Second of all, what are the odds that that would happen to someone with a broken foot? And third, both at the same time? What the hell is wrong with you?
You know what's crazy? I think I read in like the report that he was heading to a show and that he got hit by a bus and still made it. Still went to the show like 2 hours later. Like, but you know what I realized though? I think that this is probably like a more scientific thing, like a medical thing. I think that the pain receptors in his body don't work like regular people. I think that's why he has such a high pain tolerance. I don't think have you ever watched House?
You think he's literally built different?
No, literally. I think so. Have you ever watched the show House?
Yeah.
Okay, so like in House, like the girl, it was an episode about a girl, like she couldn't feel pain. So like that's why she had to she has to check her eyes and everything every day because I think she noticed because her hand was burning, she didn't know. I think that Darby, I'm not saying that he can't completely feel pain. Obviously he can because he's probably maybe the best seller in professional wrestling today. But I don't think that the pain receptors in his body work like everybody else's. I think that that's a huge part of it because there's no fucking way.
I can't wait till
we get that small. And to be that small,
we gotta get that bitch in a lab. What the hell's going on with you?
What is that? I need like one vial of his blood cells.
Somebody test this shit
because there's no way.
Real mutant type beat.
Real X-Men type shit.
Darby Allin might be Spider-Man.
Like this is crazy. But it's good to see Darby back. Like I said, he's one of those people that I will say when he's there, it feels like AEW. Like when he's around, it feels like AEW is back. Now, I'm not gonna lie.
Has good matches.
Do you remember when Darby Allin gave us his eulogy before heading up on Everest? Like we spent past that.
Yeah.
Everybody was scared. I think that's when Tony Khan slipped Jay White a bonus in his paycheck. Handle this.
Break that little bitch. Break. You know how insane that is? Well, first of all, I can't get over this, bro, because you come out here, you essentially say bye to everybody. You're like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm coming back. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And then in the time that you are preparing to go climb Mount Everest, you break your foot. Okay, fine. Okay, I gotta take a step back. So I take back the eulogy because I gotta go heal. But while I'm healing, what? And then for his solution in his mind to be like, you know what? That's a good point. I should try that Everest shit again. What?
And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of what's scariest about Darby is, I don't know a politically correct way to say this. Darby often gets called this generation's Jeff Hardy, right? I would like to take it a step further because when Jeff Hardy did crazy shit, part of it is because of influence. Darby doing all this shit sober is so alarming to me.
That's crazy.
Like, I can't even say that drugs make you do it. I can't even, the fact that I can't say that drugs make you act like this. Like, you are wilding like this sober. This is the drug. Like, this is it. This is the drug.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Like this, doing shit like this,
I always forget about that.
You are a legitimate adrenaline junkie. That's the drug. That's it.
I hope you have a very good therapist. Because,
man,
my God.
Man. Like, Darby, I feel like...
Best of luck to your brother.
Darby Allin's Hall of Fame speech is going to be Because part of it, I used to say that I think so many of us be like, oh, Darby's gonna be, he might not make it to like, 35 at this point. I think for me, the fear has completely shifted of like, oh my God, guys, have we ever considered that he's gonna live?
He's gonna outlive all of us. That's an even scarier thought.
That's kind of more frightening.
There is no end.
I'll be honest. I see now why he do the shit that he do. Because if I knew I was that indestructible,
I'd do some more crazy shit too.
I'd do some of that shit too, y'all. And it's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like you're terrifying, because like I know you be in the lab, especially after you come back from something else, and be like, I can do that. Let me tell you what. Like, I can do that.
And the problem is though, everybody around you that is like, oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. You can just be like, didn't kill me last time. Well, that didn't kill me.
No one,
and then everybody else has to be like, you know what? I mean, I guess.
And nobody can argue with you.
Like, what took me out? Did a bus? No. Okay. Did all these crazy spots that y'all be talking about? Did that? No. Okay. So if I want to do some more crazy shit, my track record is good so far.
Well, the thing is, we are only really considering the broken foot and the bus. That's not even considering the Revolution spot. Darby falling off of that ladder through a glass pane. And here's the thing, as a person who was at Revolution, I feel like everybody at home, you had the privilege of, they kept the camera on Sting and the Bucks for just about the rest of the match. We thought Darby was dead for 20 minutes. He didn't move. He was laying in a pool of his own blood and glass. Noah just announced a new president to strengthen its relationship with WWE. I'm going to kill myself. Never mind. We can end the stream here. Okay. Any final words?
Guys, this is my last stream. Next time you see me, I will be so grown. Yeah. So everybody tell me happy birthday and ask Adam Cole why he didn't come to my birthday party. Thank you.
When is your birthday again?
Tuesday.
Okay, I will remember. I need to go jump off something now.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm distraught. Oh my God. I need to go do some research. I know this can't be true. This can't be true at all. This can't be true. I know this ain't what I think it is. Like I can't do this. I can't do this. But in the spirit of hater energy, just wanted to play this one more time. Everybody, Monster on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga here. Bye. Man down, call her ambulance, tell him breathe, bro. Nella nigga to the cross.